Times were tough, so I sold my soul. And I don't think I'll ever regain control. Devil looked me in the eye, now I look the other way. What else could I do? I just stared at the doorway, knew I'd rather be drunk with you. I'd rather be
Hey Internet, Dracofunk here, and welcome back to my Reusable Space program. I'm not even sure what episode this is, it's been so long, and I'm sorry for that. And right now, I am doing a whirlwind of a refueling mission. Right now, I am landing on the Mun. I'm going to do some mining and get some fuel and send it up because I am trying to refuel the Interplanetary Probe. And that, I've kind of been doing that for a while. Like, I think I'm only going to show you one of these. And I've probably done this 6 times to get the whole refueling thing. A couple times I've also been sending fuel to Enterprise Station and also to the Interplanetary Probe. I'm using Smart ASS to keep me pointed towards my target. Actually, I'm not using it right now. I just still have it up on the screen. And I'm manually docking to Columbia Station. And I'm going to do a whole bunch of fuel transfers here. And this has kind of been my life. This is actually over an hour's worth of footage and gameplay that I'm showing you probably here close to, I think I have it sped up so fast, it's going to go through in like 4 minutes. But I'm transferring fuel to the tanker, the Canterbury, and the excess fuel I'll transfer to the station, and so I can keep the station full. And so every time I do one of these missions, there's a whole bunch of just getting everything topped off. And that's kind of the day-to-day life of the Reusable Space program. And then once everything is topped off and the Canterbury is full, I send it back to Kerbin. And it's going to get itself in a good orbit. I think in my mind when I was recording this, I was going to do cutscenes and just briefly show what was going on, but nah. I'm just going to show you the whole 1 hour bit. Using the rendezvous planner to get an encounter with the probe. Now, this probe's great. It has a ton of Delta V. It can make it to Duna and back, pulling supplies, people, and parts. It's unmanned, although there is no manned control surfaces. I think there are 2 seats that I put inside the container, so it wouldn't exactly be what I would call comfortable to transport Kerbins to, but I could do it. Now, this is not the first refueling mission I've done to the probe. The probe is actually almost completely refueled at this point. Almost. It does, I did find I had some oxidizer on it, and I'm transferring that off. But it is still not completely full. So that whole mission, as I said, this is probably the third time. This is either the second or the third mission to refuel this craft. And I'm going to have to continue making fuel deliveries because I'm going to completely fill this up and use it to transport probably another whole space station train and maybe some... I think I'm going to put 2 pug units on there and send it to Duna. And back to the it's time for the Canterbury to head back to the Mun and gather some more fuel. And this is basically the everyday life of the reusable space program. It's just... And this is the part that makes it reusable. And sometimes I've kind of not shown all of this because it's kind of boring. It can be tedious. And it's kind of kept me from making, like, this episode coming out, because that's been kind of the life of the reusable space program, is just going back and forth doing the same mission over and over again. And that's kind of what everyday life for a space program would be, is just the tedious docking, undocking, mining, refueling. And not everything is exploration and so not everything exploration and traveling to new places. And I could totally just land the Interplanetary Probe, launch another one, and that'd be easier gameplay wise. And you can see now I'm transferring fuel all over again. Basically, all the fuel I can to refuel the Canterbury. Land yet again on the Mun. Mine yet again. Take off. Rendezvous with the space station. And fly right by it. Actually, not really. And dock. So, my goal is to recreate what an actual reusable space program is. And I'm actually, even though this is kind of boring and tedious, I'm actually happy that it's kind of worked out this way, and we are making... I'm doing it the right way. transferring fuel, filling up the Canterbury, and it's all this transporting. It's just transporting resources around the solar system, which is what a space program would be. And I will make another fuel transfer and fill it up and do a mission again. But in the meantime, we are back on Kerbin at the launch pad. This is another day of filming, and we are launching another space bus. And I have upgraded this a little bit from the other space buses. As you can see, it has another... all I really did was put another monopropellant tank on the top, because the downfall of the space bus is it runs out of monopropellant. You can see I'm launching it on the upgraded reusable booster. And I also need to apologize. If you were watching the 100 subscriber special, you will notice that there was one episode in which I made a mistake where apparently the upgraded booster didn't have the correct fuel lines. I just did a quick transfer and everything's fine. But there was an episode of the Reusable Space Program where apparently I somehow switched to my Kerbal Space Program 2 video recording feed, and it was not quite centered. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. And this episode and the next, I did not catch it as I was recording. Unfortunately, so the video is slightly off where the bottom's cut off and there's some dead space at the top. And man, I wish I would have caught it sooner. But the space bus is now in orbit, and I'm going to be sending this to Duna. But it is not going alone. I'm also going to send up a fuel container with it, which will give it some extra fuel. I'm only going to put liquid fuel in it. It's going to be one of the medium LOX tanks. I'll just name this the Space Bus 3 and put Duna in parentheses so I know where it comes from, and switch it to a ship, not an aircraft, and that's because it has the aircraft cockpit, so the game wants to say it's an aircraft or space plane, even though this has no atmospheric capabilities whatsoever. But the space bus is ready to go. I think I even have 2 passengers on it. So this is the liquid oxygen tank I was talking about, and I am launching it. All the oxidizer has been removed, and the space bus on its own, I'm pretty sure could make it to Duna. However, this will give it just a little bit of extra fuel. That way it can maneuver in system once it gets there and rendezvous with the Duna space station, which has yet to be assembled. But most of the pieces are there. It has the special truss with the solar panels and radiators, the station core. I will probably send a better section for docking, although it does have enough docking ports. I do need more fuel tanks. I need an ore tank and a monopropellant tank to send up there. but I will send those on some more launches, and as I send more infrastructure to Duna, they will travel there. I'm thinking of sending a redesigned tanker craft to Duna. So that booster, I'm just cut it off. It's going to make a landing back on the Kerbin, but I didn't want to spend too much time. So I want to conserve as much Delta V for the Space Bus as possible before I send it to Duna. So I'm going to use the Ares craft. I forget which one this is. This might be Ares 3 now. I think the Ares 1 was destroyed in an accident. The Ares 2 is at the Mun? That seems right. And it is going to rendezvous with that small liquid oxygen tank that has no oxidizer in it and take it to I don't remember if I take it to the space station or I take it directly to the space bus. So I filmed this about a month ago at this point. And that's how long it's taking me to get to editing this. Which I apologize for. I know the reusable space program has been coming and going in like little spurts, and I meant to have this weekly thing going on, and I wanted to do more Kerbal Space Program 2 stuff, and I just haven't had the time to really even play. I haven't actually played Kerbal Space Program 2 since the last video I had go up. And that's just because, it happens, you get busy, and yeah. I've kind of been, I've only had maybe like one day a week to be on a game, and I've been doing the 100 subscriber special during that time, which is why I haven't really had a chance to do anything new in the reusable space program or Kerbal Space Program 2. And there it is docked with the tank. I, for some reason, think I decided to take this to the space station instead of taking it to the space bus, and I don't remember my reasoning. But yeah, I'm taking this to Enterprise Station, which is the station in orbit of Kerbin. And I'm sure I had a very good reason for doing that. Although I don't remember what the reason was at this point in time. Hey, if you'd like to think of if you have a reason why I would take it to Enterprise Station instead of directly taking to the Space Bus, put a message in the comments, because I would like to know why I did that too. And I don't remember why. It could be that I ended up using more fuel. I don't think I ended up using any fuel on the Space Bus. I don't know. But I must have had a good reason. And I'm sure I did. But here we are, right now. So hey, if you're watching this, I'm sure you've seen my 100 subscriber special. I'm currently driving a rover train from the North Pole to the South Pole. I am about a quarter of the way there. And that is actually in the same save as the Reusable Space program. Although this was recorded, as I said, this was recorded about a month ago. The Reusable Space program has, or the 100 subscriber special has since progressed a little bit further since then. So I think at this point in time, I was not quite yet a quarter of the way there. And I'm coming into dock. So there is Space Bus number 1 that goes between Enterprise Station and the Mun. And there is the old mining ship, the original mining ship that ended up not being very useful. I'm not really sure what to do with it, so it's just been kind of hanging out here on the space station. Maybe I should land it and recycle it. I don't know. Either way, so there, the Lox tank is at Enterprise Station. Next episode, I will make sure it gets to meet with the Space Bus, and I will send it to Duna, and we will see if we can get this Duna station constructed. Hey, thanks for watching my Reusable Space program. This is Season 2, Episode something, because I don't remember, and we'll see you next time. Like and subscribe. Highway 47.